Hi, my name is Denise Montanino, and we're here today talking about Shrouded Stories. So I'm here with our guest, Jim Bertrand, and he's here to share his story about his experience with the Shroud of Turin and how that may have affected his life.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I'll tell you what, about back in 1995, I was really interested in the Shroud. I've been studying it, and I had the pleasure of meeting Dr. John Jackson. I invited him to come to my parish, and so he came to my parish, St. Peter's in Lincoln, and gave a talk on it. And it was just magnificent. We got to be good friends. His wife came with him. And over the years, we touched base. I remember I took him to Boys Town in Omaha one time, and they enjoyed that. Anyway, in 2014, he completed a book called The Critical Summary on the Shroud,
mhm.
Hypotheses, Data. And it covered over 4 decades worth of research. And he presented at the 2014 Shroud Conference in St. Louis. And at the conclusion of that, he'd invited me to go. He and a colleague of his for the Turin Shroud Center, Robert Siefker, asked if I could uh, take the information from his research, that book, and put it into a PowerPoint presentation to share with people because it's a lot of information. It covers like 83 different items on the Shroud. Could you scale that down in a digestible way for people to share with people? And so I went after that, spent hundreds of hours putting that PowerPoint together. And you know what made me think that it was called for this is that I worked construction a couple summers and lost most of my hearing. I have profound hearing loss.
Mm.
Been wearing hearing aids ever since I was like 24. And people always have to repeat themselves, and it gets worse and worse over time.
Mhm.
But when I was at that 2014 conference, I listened to 42 different presentations by people from all over the world, Italy, Spain, France, Germany, the UK. And as I was driving home from that in 2014, it occurred to me that I understood every word they had said.
Mm.
And that had never happened to me before or since.
Wow.
But during those 4 days at the Shroud Conference, I think I was granted the grace of normal hearing. And
Wow.
I don't have it now. But that was kind of a sign for me that this is something I should be doing. And so ever since that time, I've just been all in terms of getting more information, doing presentations, 30 states now, over 50 dioceses. I've never made a dime doing this. God opens doors, and things just seem to fall into place. So,
Wow.
so my Shroud story started with meeting Dr. John Jackson, having that experience at the Shroud Conference, and then in the last 10 years, given like 350 presentations, and it's just been a wonderful experience. It's a privilege to do something like this,
Yeah.
and I will do it as long as God wants me to.
Wow. That's a beautiful story. Talk about having ears to hear. I mean, that's quite remarkable. So, is there anything else that you have experienced in your study or evangelization of the Shroud that is you've witnessed in your own life that has
Yeah.
changed your heart or anyone else?
I think the message of the Shroud is especially timely for people today in that it is a message of hope.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you see that man, Jesus was a real person, the resurrection is real. That's in all of our futures. We all have a resurrection in our future.
Mm-hmm.
And so when people have that hope, I think that can take you a long ways to get through the Good Fridays of your life.
Beautiful. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing.
Sure.
Wonderful.